Hello students, you all are welcome in grade 6 science chapter number 16 continue garbage in garbage out from where our subtopic is think and throw. We have to think first and then throw. What we have to throw that we must think. How much of garbage do you think is thrown out by each house every day? You can make estimate by using bucket as a measure. Use a 5 to 10 liter buckets to collect the garbage from your home. As you can see here the picture, neighborhood garbage dump. In how many days does the bucket become full? You know the number of members in your family. If you find out the population of your city or town, can you now estimate the number of buckets of garbage that may be generated in the day in your city or town? So we are generating mountains of garbage every day, isn't it? Every day we can generate heap of garbage, right? So let us read a story about the village where there is a less garbage and more wisdom. Nandu studies in a class 6. He is very fond of making paper planes. His mother is very annoyed when he tears off the sheets from the new books to make the aeroplanes, but Nandu does not care. Once Nenu went to his aunt's village along with his mother. He was amazed at the variety of things his cousin Shyam. So files from old charts, greeting cards decorated with the flowers made from pencil shaving, mats from old clothes, baskets from used old polythene bag. But some of the items Nenu likes. So Shyam had even made a diary from invitation cards. So one morning Nenu went looking for his grandmother, that is Nani. He saw that she was applying a thick paste on the basket. Nanu asked Nani, "What are you doing? What is this paste?" "This is a papier mac, a paste made of clay and paper in which I have also mixed some rice husk," replied Nani. "But why are you putting it on the basket?" asked Nanu. "To make it stronger," said Nani, and added, "Would you like to learn this from me?" So Nanu was not a very keen and ran outside to play. He was only interested in tearing up the paper to make planes. In fact, he also started tearing up papers from Shyam's file. Shyam collected all the piece of paper Nanu had used, wondering what to do about him. He just did not listen to anyone. It was Nanu's birthday in a few days. Shyam planned to invite Nanu's friend. Nanu took out the money from his mud pot and went to market. He bought some paper hats for his friends. He asked the shopkeeper for a polythene bag to keep the hats, who gave him a paper bag instead of polythene. Nanu also bought many other items like biscuits and toffees. He found it difficult to carry all of these things as no shopkeeper was ready to give polythene bag. So Shyam had told him to carry a cloth bag with him and he was sorry. He did not listen to him. Somehow he managed to reach home with all his purchases. Nanu's friend enjoyed the feast on his birthday and played many games. Here you can see the Nanu's photograph with bags with full of purchases. All his friends wore the shiny paper hat Nanu had bought. Shyam had made a beautiful papier neck mask for Nanu's friend. He had a special gift for Nanu's as well. A photo frame and greeting card made from the paste of all the pieces of paper Nanu had thrown away. It was a new experience for Nanu. All his friends went home with their masks. Nanu was too excited to finish his meal and look at his gift. Nanu returned home after his holidays were over how different his town was from Shyam's village. There were no rack speakers in the villages as it was neat and clean. But now he stopped making face when he showed the rack picking children near his house. You might have seen some children sorting the garbage near the house or at the places. Observe the children at the work and find out how they separate useful material from the garbage. They are actually helping us. Talk to one child and find out what do they do with the rubbish they collect. Where do they take it? Does he or she go to school? What about his or her friends? If they do not go to school, find out the possible reasons. Can you help this child to read and write? Have you ever helped at home to sell old newspapers, glass and metal things, plastic bags, and your old notebooks to garbage dealer? Talk to him and find out what he does with all this garbage. Would you like to make paper from old or discard paper like Shyam? Let us learn to do this. See, in this short story, it tells us that the moral of this story is we do not waste the paper and we have to think. See, we have to think how does we pollute our environment, right? We should think about the environment, think and throw, right? So we have to see that whether that particular material which is made up of that paper, then paper it is a recycling that objects, right? And they recycle materials, right? So old newspaper, old papers, of course, we play the that whatever the toys with the help of that paper, but we should think about its recycle, right? We have to collect the all the type of materials, whether which is made up of which things, paper, plastic. We have to separate the that plastic material, right? So whenever we go to the market, they people instead of that polyethylene bag, they give us paper bag to reduce the paper to reduce the pollution of garbage, that is to reduce the pollution of that plastic materials, right? So from this small story we have to learn that we have to use uh, materials in such a way that we do not harm our environment. Remember? So the next point, that is recycling of paper. You will require the pieces of old newspaper, magazine, used envelope, notebooks, or any other paper. Do not use shiny plastic coated paper. You will also need a frame fitted with the wire mesh or net. You can also use a large size seal in the place of frame. Tear the paper into small pieces but put them in a tub or bucket and pour water in it. So let the piece of paper remain submerged in the water for a day. Make a thick paste of the paper by pounding it. Now spread the wet paste on the wire mesh to frame. Pat it gently to make the thickness of the layer of the paste as uniform as possible. Wait till water drains off. It requires spraying on the old clothes or sheet of newspaper on the paste. Let it to soak up the extra water. Now carefully remove the layer of the paste from the frame. Spread it on the sheet of newspaper in the sun. Keep the corners of the newspaper sheet pressed by putting some weight so that this do not curl up. You can add food color, piece of dry leaves, of a flower petal or piece of some colored paper in this paste before spreading it. It would help you to get the recycled paper with beautiful pattern on it, right? So here we have to learn that how do we make best from waste materials. So can we recycle everything just as we recycle paper? Okay, so we have to think that we have to do whatever the articles, whatever the materials, whatever the TLM for the school. So whatever the waste material is there, we have to keep it properly. And wherever the time is there, at that time we have to make something new from that waste material. So it is the recycle techniques, and all the we should all learn the concept of recycle, right? And we have to use it. So if we have to make something new from that waste material, some new thing, so it is a inner enjoy from our heart that we have to do something. We have created something, right? It is a creativity, right? So that every students that have this hidden talent. So we have to use, we have to apply our common sense and do it. Okay. Now the next point is plastic, which is a boon or curse. Now you can write, you can discuss, you can get debate regarding this topic, plastic, which is a boon or curse. है ना, boon यानी आशीर्वाद, प्लास्टिक हमारे लिए आशीर्वाद है या श्राप है, कर्स मीन श्राप. So whether it is a boon for us, then why? Whether it is a curse for us, then why? So what should we think? That we are going to see in detail. Some kind of plastic can be recycled, but not all of them. Did you notice that polythene bag and some plastic did not rot in activity number one? You might now easily understand why polythene bags create a big problem in the garbage disposal. It may be little difficult to imagine of our life without plastic. Shall we list a few things that we use that are made up of plastic: toys, shoes, bags, pencils, comb, toothbrushes, buckets, bottles, and water pipes. The list is a very long. Can you name a few parts of the bus, car, radio, television, refrigerator, and scooter that are also made up of plastics? The use of plastic in itself might not create us so much problem. The problem arises when we use plastic excessively and are ignorant about the ways of disposing their waste. This is what is happening all around us. So main problem that plastic materials, right? Everywhere we have seen the plastic everywhere. So we might ever be acting irresponsibly, right? So knowing well about his harmful effects. We often use plastic bags to store cooked food items. Sometimes these bags may not be suitable for keeping eatables. Consuming food packed in a such plastic bag could be harmful to our health. Many a time shopkeepers use plastic bags that have been used earlier for some other purpose. Sometimes bags collected by the rack pickers are also used after washing them. Use of such recycled plastic bags to keep food items could be harmful for our health. And for storing eatables, we must insist on use of plastic bags that are approved for such a use. All kind of plastics give out the harmful gases upon eating or burning. These gases may be cause health problems including cancer. In human, the government has also laid down the guidelines for recycling of plastics. You must have noticed that people often fill the garbage in plastic bags and then throw it away. When stray animals look for food in these bags, they end up the swallowing these, and sometimes they die due to this swallowing plastics, right? So the plastic bags thrown away carelessly on roads and other places get into drain and sewer system. You see that this plastic, these bags you throw anywhere and either sides. Sometimes animals may die when they swallow it, and sometimes what happen exactly? It just choke up the drain system, our sewage system. So it's a problem of overflowing everywhere and it leads to pollution, right? So as a result, drain gets choked and the water spills on the road during the heavy rains. It might even create a flood like situation. There is a lot of harm that too much use of plastics can do. So what can we do to minimize the overuse of plastics and deal with the garbage, right? So write down the list of the points that we have to use minimum use of plastic. So number one, we make minimum use of plastic bags. We reuse the bags whenever it is possible to do without any adverse effect. Number two, we insist shopkeepers use plastic bags. We carry a cloth or jute bag when we go for a शॉपिंग में जाना है तो आप जूट बैग लेके जाओ, प्लास्टिक बैग्स में मत लाओ, राइट? वी डू नॉट यूज प्लास्टिक बैग टू स्टोर द ईटेबल्स, है ना? कोई भी चीज़ हम प्लास्टिक बैग में स्टोर नहीं करेंगे, उसको फ्रीज में नहीं रखेंगे. We do not throw the plastic bag here and there after use. We never burn plastic bags and other plastic items. We do not put garbage in plastic bags and throw it away. We use vermicomposting at home and deal with our kitchen waste carefully. We recycle paper. We use both sides of paper to write. We use a slate for rough work, right? We use blank sheets of paper left in our notebook for a rough work, right? We make means we have to save the paper, we have to recycle the paper. We make our family, friends and others to follow the proper practices for disposing different kinds of waste. Think about some more ways to minimize overuse of plastic and discuss. बच्चों ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ जो भी दिए हैं पॉइंट्स ये थे यही आपको लिखना है कि भाई हाउ टू मिनिमाइज. आपके दिमाग में अगर कोई भी ऐसे पॉइंट्स आए जो इसमें नहीं है, दैट ऑल्सो यू कैन राइट डाउन, है ना? और ऐसे लिखोगे तो आपको मार्क्स भी ज़्यादा मिलेगा क्योंकि आपने थिंकिंग किया है, राइट? सो दैट्स गुड फॉर यू बिकॉज देर इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम, स्टिल देर इज़ अ प्रॉब्लम ऑफ यूज ऑफ प्लास्टिक्स. तो प्लास्टिक्स को कैसे हटाया जाए वो आपको लिखना है, राइट? तो think and write. So dear student, think about some more ways to minimize overuse of plastics and discuss. The most important point to know and think about is that more garbage we generate, more difficult it will be in the get rid of it. Okay. So here this chapter is over and here you can prepare no plastics, right? डिस्कस ऑन नो प्लास्टिक्स. आप एक रिपोर्ट बना सकते हो, ये एक्टिविटी के तौर पे आप बना के आप अपना पॉइंट्स लिख के आप मुझे सबमिट कर सकते हो, राइट? एज अ फॉर्म ऑफ साइंस एनरिचमेंट एक्टिविटी, राइट? ये बहुत अच्छा टॉपिक है जो आप अपने आप खुद बना सकते हो. सो हाउ टू use minimize plastic or no plastics, right? Instead of plastic we should use paper bag or we should use paper, right? So all the points that we have note down over here. So next time we will do the extra videos and notes and worksheet for this. Till then, goodbye, have a nice day.